Big failures such as Elizabeth Arden, Jack Canfield, the Beatles, Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, J.K. Rowling are household names across the globe of success. Welcome to Raw. Raw is about real, absolute wisdom. What does that mean? It means that it is assisting, serving the people out there how to pass through their fears, focus on their success, and live a wonderful life for themselves. It is not about how they live their life for others, but how they live their lives for themselves in terms of their work, their career, their business, their relationships. My name is Rohit Basi and welcome to Raw. It is an extreme honor and pleasure to have a pioneer at this show. He is revolutionizing the agricultural landscape. He is providing a sustainable solution to the Middle East region, a Saudi national and a qualified industrial engineer. It doesn't stop here. He is committed to develop the sustainability of the Middle East region. Omar Al Jundi is a focused agriculture innovator. We are now going to join the CEO of Badia Farms, Omar, who drives the business vision with ambitious plans to lead the region's agriculture industry. Let's welcome Omar to the show. Thank you, Omar. Thank you for welcoming me to your villa for this podcast show. Truly appreciate it. Now, there's a lot of things which I'm going to ask you. It's going to be around success, failure, on your journey to where you are at the moment. But before we go into all of that, I would like our listeners, our viewers to know about Omar. Where did he come from? Where has he been? What's happened with him? Yes. Just a brief of it. And before you do that, for the record, what's your full name as well?
Yeah, sure. It's Omar Nafiz Al Jundi.
Okay.
And I'm from Saudi Arabia. I grew up early years in the east coast of Saudi, at Khobar. Then when my dad's work went to the west coast, we moved to Jeddah. My last 2 years I went to high school in Bahrain school.
Okay.
Then attended my first year of college, Lehigh University, after which I transferred to University of Miami and I graduated with industrial engineering bachelor's. I transferred because it was cold.
Is that the only reason?
And the beautiful city. Yeah.
Okay. So, from a young age, you traveled quite a lot from where you're saying from Bahrain to Miami. Quite a lot you from that age. From your young age, and I mean, you're a business person. You've been in business for a long time. But going back to your youth, was everything handed to you on a plate? How was your life? Because you seem very well established. You've done many businesses, which we'll talk about in a while. But how was your life growing up? How did your father bring you up?
Yeah. Well, my parents were, they were strict, and they had rules in place.
Okay.
And we could not, play with these rules. And back then we didn't realize, why are they so strict, and why are they, we gotta be, for in the weekend at our friend's place, we have to back by a certain time, for example. And if it was 10-15 minutes, they would make a big deal out of it. But honestly, this, right now looking back, it taught me to be disciplined, or taught me and my brother and sister for us to be disciplined. And that same discipline carried on in other aspects of life. So, for example, when I was in college, my dad would give me a specific budget per week, and if I spent it, I would be, I'd be in trouble, and I wouldn't know what to do. And even if I went out for dinners or movie theater, when I sent him my budget, I would put in, entertainment. So he wanted to know where the money is going. I wanted to know. It's going in the right place.
Okay, interesting. Now, I remember you telling me that before you even joined your dad's business when you were young, you created a very small business for yourself selling some tapes or something. So tell me what about that.
And I was on Jeddah private school in Jeddah. So I started, there's the tapes, and I started recording Arabic songs. And back then I didn't have a mixer or anything, so just the song would end and then the other would start. And I believe I was selling it for maybe 10 reals, and I was selling it to a bit of my classmates and my parents' friends.
Okay.
Not probably my parents' friends who just wanted to be nice and to support that entrepreneurial.
Interesting. So how was that experience just doing that?
I mean, looking back, you were kids, you're just trying to do something. But now when you're like, wow, this is. I had something special. I wanted to create a business even back then, and it was on a small scale, but it's something that probably my parents saw and nurtured. My father always supported any entrepreneurial idea I had, and he would always say, Omar, I can give you a small amount. Consider this as a seed funding, as a support, just for me to build on it and really go ahead with it.
Okay. Now, from what you've done, you're into sustainability at the moment, and you've been doing it for a while now. To get to this point, and I know you're extremely passionate about it, but before coming to doing sustainability, what were you doing? You left university. What did you start doing, and how did you get to this point? Yes, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to contribute.
It was a long journey, and it wasn't something that happened overnight. So after college, I went to Samba Financial Group, worked in corporate banking for 2.5 years, after which I met a few friends and we started a lounge/restaurant in Jeddah for a few years, after which I ended up selling my share, because as partners, you grow as well as an entrepreneur, and you grow as a company leader, and the strategies change. So we weren't on the same page any longer. So I ended up selling my share, went back to University of Miami, did my MBA, and then when I came back, I joined my dad's firm for 10 years. He has an architecture engineering firm.
Okay. And
after 10 years, I decided, or it wasn't for me. In the Arab world, we're always conditioned to follow what the family started, or what their father started.
Yes.
You can call it transfer of guilt or conditioning but it took me 10 years to realize this is not where my passion lies, and this is not where I can add value.
Okay.
Really. And God bless my dad. He established a very well organization with systems, processes. I mean, he has great leadership in the company. They're very committed, very loyal, very skilled. So it was on cruise control, and I didn't feel I would add any value. The first few years, I did learn a lot.
Yeah.
After leaving him, that's when another journey started, where I was trying to really find myself and find what's my reason for being, and what did my creator design me for.
Okay.
And that's when I initially thought I'll go into social media, then I thought I'll be starting an app, then flirted a bit with mining, until I discovered hydroponics and modern farming, in which you don't use any soil and you recycle water, and that's when I'm like, wow, this is perfect for our region. As if this whole way of growing is designed for us, and that's another journey. Once I discovered, so that point took maybe getting to that point was 3-4 years. Because while I was with my dad's company, I was doing a lot of reading, a lot of research, attending conferences. So yeah, it did take a long time. And then once I realized this is what I'm passionate about, and I enjoyed it, the more I got into it, the more I felt this is where I belong, and that's where my calling is. I took courses in California, took courses in Holland, worked in a cucumber facility, and really immersed myself. And the idea wasn't really money. It was just me finding myself, because I had a reason to wake up in the morning.
Okay.
So it was beautiful once I realized that.
Okay. Now, you're a Saudi national, but you're here in Dubai, and you've been running this sustainability program over here in Dubai for a while now. Why Dubai? Why not Saudi?
Good question. when I left Saudi, it was a completely different place.
Yeah.
So Dubai and the UAE were the progressive country, forward-thinking, and they're setting the standards not only for the Arab region, but the rest of the world. And they do support my type of projects, you know, that's sustainable, environment friendly, really solving a problem. So that's one part, the aspect of the government support. I mean, we had the Minister of Climate Change and Environment come and inaugurate the farm. We've been visited by the Minister of Future Food Security. I mean, they're very supportive of innovative and new type of projects that add value not only to the city but to the region or the globe. So that's one aspect. Also, the hospitality and aviation industries are very well developed, and they do appreciate quality. So the market was, and then you've got, I think, over 1,000+ restaurants, high-end restaurants. So the market was primed to produce a high-quality product.
Okay. Now, hydroponics. So when I first met you, I didn't even have a clue that it existed, and I learned quite a lot from you. And I also learned the term food security. And let's look at this. When I met you, I was unaware of many things. What is food security? What is, you know, hydroponics? And I'm sure people out there are still not aware of it. Why is food security so crucial for this region? That's the first thing which I would like to ask you. Why is that so important?
Well, one, we import 80%, or some countries in the GCC region, 80% plus of our fruit and vegetable requirements. So for a basic necessity of life, we're dependent upon someone else.
Yeah.
Add to it, we don't know where this food is coming from and what really has been put on it to reach us. Yeah. So there's a lot of, I mean, we grow in a controlled environment, and there are still a bit of insects that appear, you know, because you're giving them the ecosystem, water, plants, light. So I always wonder the amount of pesticides that need to be sprayed in conventional or open field farms. So one, we're able to grow locally. We're able to grow 30 minutes away, 40 minutes away. We don't use any pesticides. And then you can come and say, okay, Omar, but there are farms in the UAE, correct, or in the GC, but they grow not throughout the year. And also in hydroponics itself, if you're using pad and fan cooling, it does consume a lot of water. So the way we're growing, we're not consuming a lot of water. We recycle most of it. Okay. And the way we cool, it's just, we innovated in the way we're cooling, we use different technologies. So we took whatever is available a step further. But again, going back to food security, we need to have food available for us locally. It's just, we cannot, if God forbid, you know, have something happens to the aviation industry, or you know, something happens to the supply chain stuff, what do we do? So we need to figure out, and with the hydroponics, with this modern farming, we could finally grow local food.
Now, hydroponics, first time I heard that word from you, and then I had only heard about greenhouse. You know, why not a greenhouse? Why hydroponics? Why go down that route? Why not consider something else? What's the reason behind that?
So in hydroponics or greenhouses, you've got you know, low tech, mid tech, and high tech, and these greenhouses could be plastic, could be glass, and in our case, could be a fully closed environment. Our model would be the most expensive, but the highest in terms of technology and controls. And why is that in our case? I have a nice story to share. So when I was taking one of the courses in Holland, I took the train ride from Amsterdam to Rotterdam, and it's maybe an hour trip. But on both ends of the train, you would see big amounts of glass greenhouses. I mean, you're talking thousands of acres. And that made me wonder, and that's actually when the aha moment came for me. It's like, I mean, it's developed in Europe and North America for the past 20, 30 years. Yet it hasn't come to our part of the world. And the reason is not because we don't have the financial, or we don't have the know-how available, but these type of models do not work in our region. I mean, in Europe, they don't have any sun.
Yeah.
So whenever they get a bit of sun, they want to capture it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one. Two, they have ample water as well. It's the other way around. If you imagine sitting in a glass house in the middle of the summer where it's 50 degrees, and you know, the glass magnifies the heat. And
I'll be dead. Wow.
So that's why we went with, you know, we flipped it. Yeah, we flipped it upside down, where we said it's got to be a closed environment. We use sun to produce solar, clean energy, and we use the advancement in plant science in these special LEDs to give the plants what they require.
Now, is this something, the technology, you had to develop yourself, or did you get outside consultants to come in? What happened?
Good question. We developed part, and other parts we source from different parts of the world. So a lot of things we didn't have to create. It was already there. But how do we put it together? We did not work with any consultants because we wanted to build the know-how, build the IP. And I personally wanted to understand every single element that goes into producing this high-quality crop. So we did not work with any technical partners. We did not work with any consultants. The team that joined Badia, they're well knowledgeable, they're skilled, they've been growing all their life, and they believed in the vision and the plan and what we wanted to create in this part of the world. Okay. Now,
hydroponics also has a negative view as well. Some people say, don't touch it, it's not safe, you're actually harming the environment, you're harming the well-being of humans. How true is that?
I'm not sure where this would be coming from, but again, the technology and the science behind planting has advanced so much where we need to take advantage of it. So for example, in hydroponics, which is soilless agriculture, they just figured out a way in which you give the nutrients to the plant rather than having to go through the whole process of being in the ground, and you put the nutrients, the bacteria take it, the bacteria produces. So it's a much shorter cycle.
So shorter, more efficient.
Shorter, more efficient, and then the sustainable aspect. And again, you're not harming the environment. As a matter of fact, you're helping or supporting the environment. And this is the way forward to feed 9 billion people.
Sounds very plausible from what you're saying. Now, when you started it off over here, or when you started the whole thing, my understanding is in the beginning there was no support. You had to do it yourself, and you had to show it to be working. You know, why was that the case, that you had to show people that it's working? Why weren't people able to buy into it?
Because in the past, many farmers or investors who tried to set up farms, modern farms, failed. So they don't believe it's possible or it could be done. Secondly, again, when I started working on the vertical farming globally is still at an infancy stage, and still a lot of vertical farms are trying to prove the viability of the business. So we wanted to say we're going to do it in Dubai with no European or Western technical partners. We're going to build it our own, and we're going to produce a top quality product that we're going to sell to the best restaurants. They said, Omar, you're nuts, you've lost your mind. In addition, I'm not a farmer, our family is not into farming or agriculture, but I love the technology aspect and the innovation, and that's where a lot of the industrial engineering that I've learned came into application. But yeah, you had to show people that it could be done before they could believe, especially that it hasn't been done, and whoever tried to do it failed in the past.
Now, in the time where you've built this up, you've got the technology ready, you know it's working. I've seen the farm, it's beautiful. When you went out into market to the restaurants, to the people out there, because you're mainly going for B2B at the moment. When you went out there, what was the reaction of people? What did they say to you?
Well, luckily when we were setting up the farm, and we did a lot of research, and we worked directly with a few chefs to come up with the products that we're going to sell, what's required in the market. We would bring in different seeds, test them in different forms, and see how they could grow. So a few chefs were aware of what we're trying to do, and they've read about vertical farming, but they've never seen a vertical farm, let's say, live.
Okay.
So few chefs were already on board, but then we went out to the market. Again, they wanted to see, when I was going to tell them, we're doing it vertically, we're using 90% less water, with no sun, completely insulated grow zones. Also, they didn't believe it. They didn't believe it, and most of them requested to visit. And we initially were allowing visitors to come in and see. Seeing is believing.
Yes. Regarding hydroponics, you do B2B, and how viable is it for the mass, for the population to have access to this?
It's straightforward. I mean, it's the bigger the facility, the more we could produce. Again, initially we started with the just focusing on the B2B market, because they are the most demanding of customers. Once you get Michelin star chefs to buy your products, then you could sell. We've proven, the quality, and then we could go to other markets. So still our focus is on a B2B at this stage, but once we expand with our new facility, we could open up these products for consumers. Again, they're not priced as a local product, because we've really spent time growing these plants. What I always refer to, we give the plants a Burj Al Arab facility. They're spoiled. We play classical music. At night there's a temperature. In the morning, they're spoiled.
Very well taken.
Yeah, basically, exactly.
Interesting. Now, in your journey to get here, and before you even started hydroponics, sustainability, I want to know what kind of failures you came across, not necessarily in what you're doing, because it's a day-to-day challenge over there, but failures you came across, be it in your life or in your work or studying, and how did you manage to go through them? How did you pass through them? How do you say, okay, yes, I passed through them? What is your philosophy? What is your principles, concepts on passing through failure?
Well, I think it was 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, when I realized two things, or two big learnings. One, failures are only an obstacle or a learning experience, just so we could level up in life, in work, with family. So that's when I started embracing failures. But initially, I was just, why is not things going my way? Why am I failing? And I would blame the world or project it to the world, rather than blaming myself and being really honest with myself and saying, Omar, you failed here because you didn't study that part, or didn't do enough research, or didn't, and I take this as a learning experience. So that revelation really transformed me and helped me a lot. So I was at work. I started. I didn't mention I started a record label with a friend of mine, and we actually signed a Bahraini singer.
Wow!
I thought I'll be the Puff Daddy of the Middle East. I just come back from doing my masters in Miami. But again, we did sign the artist. We also we produced 2 video clips. We produced the whole CD. There was 10 or 12 songs. But then we didn't analyze the industry enough.
Okay.
So again, we weren't getting our receivables in terms of the artist. We didn't do enough work on the artist. So he was a good talent, but he wasn't committed. Okay. So for example, we flew him to Egypt to have a few interviews, be in a bit of shows. He wouldn't get up in the morning. And it's silly things like that where you would assume by default, he is committed as we are. So there's a lot of learnings in that. And with my initial, when I did the restaurants with my 3 of my friends, also I learned not to do anything with your friend because you end up losing that friendship. I mean, so all the business I started with friends, there's only one friend, Naif Arab, who we're still close and we're still friends, but he's the exception. But everyone else, it messes up the friendship. So I learned as well not to do. If we can do it alone, we do it alone. One. Secondly, it's good to have everything written in the shareholders agreement, even if it's something you don't expect to happen. But it's good to have it there. It's good to work with lawyers. Good to work with people who have done this and have the experience, so you're covered. So that was
that's a massive learning.
Yeah, but I've been through many failures. The record label, So yes, although I exited, I got the money that I just put in with the partners. But the company, if we had just worked together and overcome the obstacles, we would have been somewhere else because we were ahead of people by I think 10 years, 12 years. Where the first lounge, they're smoking shisha. It was 2 floors, each floor 600 square meters. It was a hit.
I saw the images and it seems so grand and majestic.
Yeah, it was called Java Lounge. Yeah.
Java Lounge. Now, so that's about failures. In regards to success, I've heard certain people say, and they say, here's a success formula, use it and you will be successful. What's your take on that? Is there a success formula?
I think there are success habits. Okay. But not necessarily that would become. You'd hope that would become a formula for success. But I mean, being consistent, perseverance, being positive, getting up early in the morning. 4 or 5 a.m. because these 2 hours do make a whole lot of difference. Okay. Challenging yourself, getting out of your comfort zone, having just the right people. I mean, having people who are smarter than you on your team, because that again will elevate the IQ of the team. But these are habits that are important.
Interesting you say that. Now. There's a lot of people who want to become entrepreneurs, and they have this thing, I want to be an entrepreneur, I don't want to do a job, it's useless doing a job. I don't know what the thought process is, but I hear people say that, I want to be an entrepreneur. And they just jump into it, which for some it can be successful, for many it's a big fall. And then they wonder what went wrong. What would you guide people who want to be an entrepreneur or are on this path of entrepreneur? What is the guidelines you would give them in terms of, should you just jump for it? Do they need to consider certain things? What would you say to them?
I mean, you'd have to do the jump at some point.
Yes.
So having the jump, or if you want to call it leap of faith, is important. But then they just have to have done their homework as much as possible, really. So finding out if you're going to jump it or start an app or a company, or what are the advantage, what's going to differentiate you, why would people come and buy your product versus another product, how are you going to introduce it to the market, how are you going to market it, is there a way to produce it at a lesser cost? So these are basics. which are part of the business. I would call it a business plan plus or plus plus. So other than covering, you just go a step further or a step deeper. Meet with people you're going to be competing with. And honestly, people want to support. They wouldn't tell you their secrets, but they would give you their time.
Yes.
To orient you on a specific industry or market. I mean, with LinkedIn now and all the other, we live in an age of information. Everything is available on our fingertips. So just connecting with people, meeting with people, attending conferences, and just studying whatever you want to get into. And then again, and once you get to, you'll find out that there's a lot more that you'll have to learn. But at least you've covered the basics. And then you would deal with each obstacle or a problem when you get to it. And then starting a company, I'd say, when at times in Dubai when during the winter it's foggy and all you could see is just honestly maybe 200, 300 meters, and you're freaked out because you're not sure what lays ahead. But then once you pass these 200 or 300 meters, another 200, 300 meter opens up. And that's what entrepreneurship is. So you don't know how you're going to get to the end goal, but all you can focus on is this,
200.
Yeah, exactly. 2-3 days or a week. And then, but if you make that week count and you deliver on what you've set to do, then another week opens up new possibilities and new opportunities.
Interesting you're talking about that, and a question that comes into my mind is, you worked for your father, you gained a lot of knowledge, he made you accountable and responsible through things from a very young age, so it wasn't like plain sailing for you. Now you're running your whole thing, you have your family involved in it to a certain point as well. Are there times when you have no inspiration, no motivation to do what you do? Does that happen with you?
Absolutely.
And how do you pull yourself up? What do you do? Do you go, this is wrong, I need to do this? What do you do to yourself?
I always say it's good the day is only, the day ends. Okay. I wish the day would have had a lot more hours, but it's good the day ends. Because if you've achieved something incredible and amazing, and you're on a high that day, you're happy it's end. So next day you go back, back to the grind, and you go back to work. And if you have a bad day as well, I thank God that the day is going to end, because then the next day is a new day and a new beginning. So that's the way I deal with it. One, two, and at times you need to. It could be a change of a scene. So I'm at work and then something bad goes or something we cannot deal with. You just got to let that day end. Come back home. In my case, I like to come and my kids, my wife, the family. They inspire me. They fuel me really, and then it puts things in perspective and just a reminder of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So you need like a go-to zone. Is it your family? You like to go to the beach, go for a run, go to the gym, attend like a workshop of positivity. And you've got all these positivity clips as well on YouTube. I like sports a lot, so I watch. There's a lot of motivating talks that coaches give to players before they go into a game, and that really recharges me. But if I'm gonna summarize entrepreneurship, it's getting comfortable or being comfortable with the uncomfortable. Okay. This is what it is.
So you said you're into sports, and I recall you saying to me once that you wanted to be a footballer. Was it at one time?
I would have loved to be a football player.
And you bought your favorite T-shirt?
That's American football.
Oh, American
football.
So what happened? How come you didn't go that way?
It's just because I didn't have I wasn't blessed with with the size and the power. Because you see these American football players in college, and then there's 6'2", 6'5", and then they're massive. They would squash me But I thought of myself as a football player, and I always wore the jerseys, and You know, I'd go to the gym and pump up my muscles and just walk around campus. And few did think of me as a player, so it was a funny moment.
Okay. Now, we're going to start closing the interview. What is that you could tell the people out there who want to do their own business, or are in the business, or are successful? What is that one thing they could do for themselves, especially when things are not going well for them? What could they do to pass through that moment, through that time? Because it can be a very long road doing your own business.
Well, yeah, first of all, thank you for taking my advice on success, but I'm still learning as well, and every day I learn something new, and I think it's a long journey. Yes, it's good to have that initial success, you know, that we put up the farm, we're selling the product, but you know, 30, I think it's 90+%, between 90-94% of the companies. So first of all, 90% of the new companies don't make it; they end up failing. And then 90 plus, I think it's 90 again, 94% of the companies do not make it to year number 3. So it's always, I always keep my team and myself in check. Okay. And when we need to, yes, we're getting that media coverage and people are liking the story, but we haven't really accomplished anything yet until we reach that number 3. So it's good to keep the team in check. Secondly, through all my failed experiences, I realized there was always a solution, but that I never looked at, just because I let failure take the best of me. So there's always a way, there's always a solution. So it's how you stay positive, how you stay inspired. And again, and the entrepreneur is a leader of organization, and everyone in the company depends on the leader. So looking back again, I realized there are many things I could have done in each particular situation that if I was in the right mindset, I could have overcome it. And again, there's all these resources that we could take advantage of. So one, if they're having a bad day or having a bad situation, just leave work, because you're not helping anyone being there. Go to your source of energy and inspiration, and it could be going out at night, it could be going to a dinner, it could be calling an old friend. Whatever it is, have that go-to strategy. And once you're in the right mindset, your mind again is back in action, and will figure out what needs to be done.
Now, your family is a big support to you in what you do. How are they involved in what you do in terms of business, or just supporting you? What is that contribution you see from them towards you?
So I'll start with my parents. You know, my parents are everything. They support me in every possible way. I mean, my dad calls me every day to check on me, and it's great because he doesn't have to do it anymore. So other than him funding, you know, or seeding Badia Farms, he just supports me as a husband, as a father. You know, where he's always enlightening me with advice. You know, he's experienced as well, traveled the world, and have been a lot. So I always call upon their experiences. My mom is the rock of the family as well. I talk to her every day, and she's always supporting me. It's funny, she calls me, so how are sales? Don't worry, son, you know, they'll be up. Don't worry, you're on track. My sister as well is very supportive. My brother challenges me a lot, which is again, if I did not have them before, I wouldn't be where I am right now. You know, I'll play it, you know, to put it very simply. My brother challenged me a lot, and that he makes me think in different ways. And I always say he completes me. So he completes everything that I don't have, he has, and vice versa. And then as well, he knows how, he knows my buttons. and he knows how to, yeah, exactly.
Just push you right there.
But yeah, so he came here for a few months, and I asked him to come here because the sales weren't reaching the figures that we've had projected. So he comes in, he spends a few weeks, and automatically he says, Omar, this is what you're not looking at, that's what you need to do. So he challenged me in terms of the strategy, our go-to-market strategy, and we adapted a lot of what he recommended. That's one. Two, he challenged my leadership skills in the organization, and he comes and says, Omar, you're not supporting the team enough, you're not being positive enough, things are not clear. So having someone like him come in and just give me these doses of what needs to be done was incredible. So that's my parents, my sister, my wife Tala. Tala is very supportive as well, and when I come in and she obviously she knows when I'm off, something is off or something not working, and she's patient. Because, the life of an entrepreneur is very, it's up and down. So I could be, and I'm an emotional person as well. Yeah. So, and now, like, she could call me at 3 p.m., life is beautiful, something happens at work, 4th, I come back to work, from work to home at 5. So, I don't want to talk to her. Yeah, I don't talk to anyone. My face is, I'm mad, and so... so she's been extremely supportive as well, and my kids, when my kids,
3 beautiful kids.
Yeah, how is it, Mom? They always say, Dad, how's Badia? When the minister came and inaugurated the farm, I took my son and daughter to the opening ceremony because it was a proud moment, and I want them to see and be part of that story. But again, if my home wasn't in order and I'm not getting the support required from my wife and the kids or my parents, my brother, sister, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. That's a fact.
Beautiful. And to close the whole talk for today, what is that you're really grateful for in your life? What is that thing? Or it could be many things.
I'm grateful to my Creator, to God, to Allah, who have given me many chances that I honestly don't believe I deserve. Because I messed up so many things so many times, and continues to give me the opportunity, not only the opportunity to just lead a normal life, no, but to flourish and excel and set an example. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed in so many ways.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.